Well, hey now, everybody. It's the Rob from 106.1 KISS FM and 103gbfrocks.com. Alongside my tag team partner in podcasting, Booger Red, Jerry Valeri. Good morning, Jer.
Good morning, Rob. I want to see this shirt you're wearing. I want the unveiling to happen.
Yeah, I was tactfully hiding my shirt because this one, I like the shirt. I like the way it looks on me. I'm happy with it, and I got it for like $3.
For those who are just new to Post to Post, Rob bought 1,000 shirts on the WWE clearance site, and every podcast he unveils another one. And I'm excited to see this one. Yesterday was North Pole 316 with a Stone Cold Skull with the Santa hat on it. That was great. Last week we had an 8-bit Jake the Snake Roberts. What, pray tell, do we have today?
I like this shirt. Ready? Here we go. The unveiling.
Dun, 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 dun.
For $3.
You had an NXT shirt for $3?
I think it's sharp. I got some just black shorts with it. In the back, I think it says "We Are NXT."
We are NXT. I like that.
Yeah.
That's a cool shirt.
I love it. Yeah, I like it a lot.
And I think it's apropos that you wear it today because isn't one of your Evansville guys, wasn't he on NXT television?
Yeah, I didn't know it until yesterday, but Mike Mikas, one of the, I think he's probably the biggest name guy in this area, although I'm sure Mike will tell me it's somebody else. I would say he's the biggest name here in the Evansville wrestling scene. He was on NXT. I mean, sure, it was kind of like a filler spot. It wasn't like a match or anything, but
hold on a second. It's running. It's just
okay. I'll
dead air.
I'll bring Jerry down for a second, but yeah, big congratulations to Mike Mikas because he got on NXT, and I didn't even realize we should have shouted him out after Money in the Bank because he got himself on Money in the Bank too. So. Congratulations to Mike. I think it's a huge deal and hopefully big things to come for Mike and the immaculate Mike Mikas. So that was the big thing going on here locally. I'm having a rough morning, just a little bit. I got really just like an hour of sleep, if that. I know that Jerry's having some on-air radio stuff happening in State College. And so as you can see, that's Chris.
I just got a text from Scott said start the stork, but I'm listening to it.
I used to work for Chris. I consider him one of the guys that gave me my first shot in radio. Jerry being another one of those guys. Jerry and I both used to work for Chris, and I guess Jerry still does out at Froggy. We used to work from on a rock.
Captain doesn't want you to do a podcast radar. Like I'm okay.
This is We Are NXT.
That's twice since I didn't kick over.
Okay. I'll keep an eye on it.
How's it going, bud? Hey, don't feel bad. It's okay. I know I'll work around you. Don't even apologize.
Oh my God. Could you hear me?
No, I kind of pulled you down to save you from anything that could have been happening.
I appreciate that. We're having issues in the studio that I'm sitting in. Because, and it's maybe something a lot of people don't know on their radar is that I work for a radio station that's not yours. And so, like, I don't want them to ever be like, well, you can't do a podcast that's benefiting another radio station, even if it is 10 hours away. And they could easily take it from me if they wanted to, and I don't want them to. So anytime someone walks in the studio, I just oblige. I throw my hands up, and we just take care of it. And so sorry about that for real.
Hey, if something goes wrong or whatever and you got to bail, it's okay. I'll understand.
At least this is purposeful interruptions. Remember the one time the sales guy came in just to show me a picture of a bobblehead to make fun of me.
Yes.
About a Penguins loss that happened 3 weeks prior. Like, that made zero sense at all. This is like radio station off the air. They've got to handle it. It's got to be done.
Absolutely. No, I'm totally with you. And you know, or hey, if it happens again and you need to leave and call on the cell phone, we could even make that happen.
Well, so far so good.
Okay.
I figure if someone else comes in and then someone else comes in after them, and then 3 minutes later someone else comes in after them, and then we get a fourth and fifth and sixth person to come in, it'll be just like the beginning of Raw last night.
Boy, Raw at the very beginning of the show was hitting literally all of my pet peeves. I mean, can we count the ways the beginning of Raw pissed me off?
You hate the waterfall promo and you hate the qualifying matches.
Boy, do I. And then so that's just the tip of the iceberg, I feel like, because this literally took us back to a month ago before they rewrote everything haphazardly. Like, remember,
they rewrote it, and then they're just doing it now on Raw.
So Jerry nailed the big ones. The big ones for me is that, yeah, okay, the waterfall promo, whatever, they're a necessary evil once in a while. But my big thing is I want to do a research study on this. I want to take all the Raws from 2018, maybe even the SmackDowns. I want to know how many of these Raws have had qualifying matches as a focal point of the show, because I swear it's like 3/4 of them, and it's driving me crazy.
It seems like a lot. It really does. And I don't mind it if it creates a good match or whatever sometimes, but it seems to be a crutch that they're relying upon far too much and far too often. And especially these matches where, like, I know Elias is not going to be taking on Brock Lesnar. There were people that came out last night that didn't need to come out. It was unnecessary. In fact, I was actually okay when Bobby Lashley came out. I was like, you know what? Makes sense. He beat Roman Reigns last night. Book it. Let's make this match Bobby Lashley, Brock Lesnar. Let's do it. And then all of a sudden, here comes the S show. Everybody's got to come out. Everybody's got to be a part of it. Drew McIntyre. And I was like, okay, so now they're going to set up a Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley main event for tonight. That's fine. And then everyone comes out. And then you get Finn Balor out there. And then you get, and all for what? So we can have Bobby Lashley and Roman Reigns in the same exact match they were in the night before that could have easily been a #1 contenders match.
That should have been the match a month before. You know, that exactly. It's so frustrating. And a lot of these people have legit no claims to being in this match. Like
Elias.
Like Elias, or to be honest with you, if you're looking at it from a wrestling's real point of view, I'm not positive Roman has a spot in there.
Roman should not have a spot in there. The fact that they put him in there is just absolutely ridiculous. Now I'm convinced he's going to win next week. I'm convinced of it.
I don't know. I still feel like it could be Lashley, but I don't feel good about that. I'll have to think about that one. But so here's the other thing. And it's like going back to Elimination Chamber, because we are now qualifying matches for qualifying matches. Because last night's qualifying matches were to get to next week's qualifying matches. Just like the qualifying matches for Money in the Bank, for Elimination Chamber is a qualifying match to get into a qualifying match.
Yeah, for a #1 contenders match.
Right. It's really frustrating me, and it's really it's a lazy form of writing that was kind of absent for the last month or so. I've been giving Raw, really Raw and SmackDown both have been kind of creative over the last month, and now here we are falling back to where we were before, and I'm not a fan of this.
This falls on the shoulders of so many people, but I do feel that it also falls on the shoulders of Brock Lesnar.
Absolutely not.
You're going to disagree with me, but Brock Lesnar being absent, they have to write matches. What are they going to do? You can't have a match against your champions. You got to have a qualifying match against who's going to face him. You got to drag it out because he's never there.
And why is he never there?
I get it, and they're doing exactly what you said the right way. They're getting everyone to boo him, but they've also painted themselves into a corner.
Last night
they have to drag out these matches.
Last night was the definitive example of the fact that the way they're booking Brock Lesnar is brilliant. Because
they're also forcing themselves to have to do these qualifiers.
That's still not true.
I think it is.
It's still not true. You can still be more creative than this with a champion who's rarely there.
Never there.
Again, that's not Brock's thing. Vince can have him there as much as he wants him there. Listen, last night in Buffalo was the definitive example of what I've been saying this entire time, because that the mere mention of Brock's name, the place erupted with heat. Erupted. And by the mere mention of his name on the post show, he's vilified. Everybody besides me hates the guy's guts. And that is by design. This is the tactic they are wanting to. It's the only way to get guys like you, Mike, and Steve, and Benny to boo him.
And then they're going to undo it all. They're going to undo all of it because they're going to have him face Roman, and no one's going to want to cheer for anybody.
They're going to want to see anybody beat him, and that's the big thing. It might not be Roman. It could be Lashley needs the help too. It could be Balor, for God's sakes. Anybody needs the help.
I thought when I looked at it last night, for a minute, I thought it's going to be Seth Rollins.
It could be Rollins.
It could have been. It can't now.
No, but I mean, you know what I mean. And by the way, no matter what, it's probably going to be Strowman. You know, the real champion kind of thing. So I mean, there's so much of this. My only thing is, everybody, this is exactly, they're playing everyone the way they want to be played. For lack of a better term, I don't like the word marks, but they're making marks out of the smart fans, and I love it. I don't like when marks is used as an insult, but they're making marks out of everybody.
Stupid Brock.
So that's all. But you have to admit, last night was proof positive that it's working.
But I'm not arguing that. All I'm saying is they've kind of given themselves very little choice in how to spread out Raws and Raw pay-per-view matches. I firmly believe this is why they started doing the co-branded pay-per-views, because they had so many pay-per-views where they couldn't even defend a title, and now they can give you one every month where AJ defends it. You know,
they can, though. They're choosing not to.
They can defend it more than they do, but they can't defend it as much as they'd like. His contract is still very limited, and you can't tell me that he would just go ahead and give them a full schedule if they asked. If
they want the title being defended more, they'd either pay him more to get him out there, or they give the title to somebody else. I feel like it's that simple. I love this because it's working like what's the cliche? It's working like a charm.
And I actually liked the triple threat match that followed this horrible segment until Roman Reigns won.
But we knew it was going to happen. And it was like, what was the first match? Because it was Elias, wasn't it?
It was Roman Reigns, Finn Balor, and Drew McIntyre.
The one name I said was wrong, of course. With both these matches, the possible exception being Seth Rollins, you knew who was going to win. With both of the qualifying matches. Yeah, I didn't think it was time for Drew McIntyre. It didn't make any sense. I thought maybe Finn Balor. It does seem like, because, correct me if I'm wrong, Drew McIntyre was not ringside with Ziggler. So I think maybe this is putting Drew into the main event picture. Not the main event, but the main event picture. Right. Right? I mean, he wasn't the second for the Intercontinental Champion last night, was he? No, but I like that there's still a faction. Again, and he said this is phase 2. Phase 1 was keeping the belt on Dolph. Phase 2 is getting me the belt. The other belt. And by the way, whatever makeover they've done with Drew McIntyre since his last main roster run, which is I don't know how many years ago, maybe 10, maybe not that long. I don't know how long ago it's been. It has worked because I never bought it with Big Cass. There's a lot of times they kind of put the rocket on people into the main event before they're ready. I feel like Drew McIntyre is a legit main eventer. Yeah, he belonged in it last night, and I think he proved that to them when he was in NXT for a while there as well. I didn't think he was going to win the match last night, but he really felt like he belonged to me. The only person that didn't feel like they belonged in that big six was Elias, unfortunately, but I think he could get there too with a little time. I felt like I don't know, Finn Balor just still looks out of place to me. That's because he's tiny. But that didn't bother us with Ray. That didn't bother us with Eddie. Right. No, yeah, I'm telling you, it's not a size thing. It's just it didn't feel like the right place and time for him. Yep. You know, so that was what I took from that. I also feel like there wasn't a whole lot to talk about. There's a few things, but there's not a whole lot to talk about besides that announcement from Kurt Angle and Paul Heyman regarding Brock Lesnar. I took a few notes and I have like a run sheet in front of me. Like stuff happened with Sasha and Bayley. So again, to make this whole weird thing even weirder, now Kurt Angle saying if you two can't get along, which by the way is the backbone of wrestling, people not getting along.
Right.
If you two can't get along, one of you has to go. I have to give you to a different show. This is absurd.
This is crazy. Instead of booking a heat-filled match, I'm going to just separate you two like petulant children.
But they also took, I mean, I kind of assumed they were just going to continue to fight, but the outcome was Sasha showing a lot of respect and literal love to Bayley.
If this angle ends any way other than those two making out, then I don't even want to see it. Like I'm so like when Sasha was telling her how much she loved Bayley, I was just like, if they don't start kissing soon, I'm just over this.
If this were 2003, it might end up with some hot lesbian action. But I think in 2018, with the Divas Revolution and the Me Too movement, I feel like we're probably not going to be seeing any of that with this feud. But
HLA.
Did somebody say 3 minutes? So I'm not expecting it to go down that road, but man, that would be Roll Tide.
Lights out, Mojo Rawley.
Hey,
they've got a rocket strapped to his back to take him all the way to the lower mid card.
Hey, real quick, going back to Sasha and Bayley, if you could only pick one of them, which one would you pick?
Sasha, because I bet she gets good weed from her uncle.
I actually think I'm going to go Bayley on this one.
Yeah, Bayley doesn't look attractive to me. Sasha looks like she does weird stuff.
Okay, fair enough.
Sasha would do whatever you do. She's DTW, down to weird.
Down to whatever.
Down to whatever. Although Bayley looks like someone that doesn't mind getting slapped around and choked and stuff. Who knows?
Welcome to Post. We are NXT. Happy birthday, Jake the Snake.
No, baby.
So
I look up birthdays here.
What did you want to say about Mojo? I know that he got a victory over who was it?
Tyler Breeze. I just think it's funny. They're like, we're gonna push Mojo Rawley all the way past all the lower mid card guys. Like that's as far as he's gonna get.
Mojo Rawley belongs in that the qualifying matches before a lot of those guys do.
Sure.
Mojo Rawley is sitting on a win streak. He's on fire by NBA Jam standards.
Boom shakalaka.
Yeah, he's heating up. You know what I mean?
He's on fire. Ronda Rousey. I thought she had a mohawk for a minute. Her hair was done in a way that I thought she'd shaved the sides of her head.
So my DVR decided to reset itself during that segment. And for like 15 minutes, I missed kind of what happened with the Alexa Bliss Ronda. It went out during Alexa Bliss's promo.
It ended up being pretty good. I mean, she chased him. She met him at the top of the stairs and beat the living hell out of him. And then Kurt Angle comes out and stops her and tacks another week, a whole week onto her suspension.
I saw this. And then not only is he so mad, he extends her suspension. He also rewards her with a title match at SummerSlam.
Yes.
Because wrestling.
Because favorites.
Like, can you imagine at work if you did something to get you in trouble and you got suspended, and then you continue to do the bad things that got you suspended, and they said, okay, we're extending your suspension, and then when you come back, you're getting a raise.
Yeah.
It just it just doesn't work that way. That's just not the way.
Like a great deal.
Yeah, it doesn't. The world doesn't work that way. What was going on with Kurt Angle and Corbin's phone? What did I miss there?
Corbin was like, I'm calling Stephanie. And then he couldn't find his phone. And he's like, I'm going to the office. I'm going to get my phone and I'll be right back. And then he left. And then Kurt pulls out a phone and goes, I bet he's looking for this.
But why did he want to call Stephanie?
To tell on Kurt.
For what? Putting Ronda in the match?
He put Ronda in the match after the phone thing. He wanted to tell Kurt for only giving her a week extra suspension and for playing favorites. And he was like, she's not gonna be happy about this. And we're gonna.
Also,
I just love how like Stephanie is so involved, but she's not watching the show. She's also. I love how she's so involved and, but she can't change a decision. Like Kurt makes a decision.
That's the other thing is like, so if he doesn't get her on the phone immediately, this match is sticking.
Yeah.
Is there like a 5-minute rule when it comes to match?
Like
what?
Oh, it's like touching your nose. Hold on.
Yeah.
The station went off again.
Okay. Hey, you know what? But I'm gonna wrap it up because I feel like we got the major stuff. Because I'm looking at the run sheet and there is nothing else. Oh, unless is there people in the room?
No, they're gonna be. I'm gonna go closing out.
All right. See you, bud. And that was everything we had to get to anyway. So I don't feel like we had to cut that one short. Thanks for being on the show, Jer. This is what happens in the world of radio. So for myself, like I said, we hit everything big. I'm curious. Let's see. I mean, I love talking about the Brock stuff. I know we kind of beat it to death. We did have the great question about Bayley versus Banks. I bet you most people are going to take Banks, but I'm Team Bayley if I had to pick one of them. And I'm talking about from an immoral point of view. Which one are you kicking out of bed, for lack of a better term? For myself, the Rob, for Jerry Valeri, who only has one more episode before we do a post-to-post live and live in color. That's going to be next week. But we'll have one more episode tomorrow to recap SmackDown from tonight. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Leave us some feedback. And we'll come at you tomorrow with another episode of Post to Post. We are Post to Post.